All right, everybody, we are live once again, Dynasty Mirror Search for Huru. And I have the brother Kellen Coleman on with us today. And we're going to be discussing, there's been a couple, Kellen, what's the best way to word this? YouTube retaliation? Is that something you want to call it? YouTube war? Like what would you call what happened to Tariq Nasheed and Zacktv1? Like, what would you call it? Kellen. Hello?
I mean, it definitely shows what state we are. Yeah, can you hear me?
You're going in and out.
Can you hear me?
I hear you now, but you're going in and
Hello?
out. Hello?
Hold on. I'm going in and out.
Yeah, you were.
Okay, it wasn't doing. Yeah, can you hear me now?
I hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay, you can hear me now?
I hear you fine. I hear you. Go ahead.
You hear me now?
I hear you now.
Hello?
I hear you.
Oh, okay. So what I would call it, what's happening with YouTube is we're seeing an attack on Black YouTubers. I mean, we've seen it with the ads and everything. And I say that because I speak with Google when, I represent different YouTubers with good sized platforms. And we're seeing first they attack the money wise. When they can't kill them money wise because of PayPal and Patreon and other things, we find other ways. Black YouTubers, you had mentioned Tariq Nasheed, that's total nonsense how someone can come to your house and you can get raided because, a group of, we're going to call them white supremacists of people, though. And there may have been some Black folks who gave out his address. I mean, if we really want to talk about that, right? If we're talking about the rumor mill, can you hear me fine?
I hear you just fine.
Dynasty?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's an attack on. Huh?
Go ahead.
Okay, it's an attack on Black YouTube, and Google's gonna have to do something better in the future, and we're gonna pressure them, all of us as a collective, like we've been pressuring them to do more to protect us. Because what happened to Tariq and even what happened to Zach, we can say one was white supremacy, but what about the other one? Was that the community, or do we even know? Was that white supremacy? Because he was bridging a gap between.
Well, I don't want to get into Zacktv1 from what I've gathered, but I don't want to get into the nitty and gritty. But yeah. But go ahead.
Okay, so there definitely is a war. There's definitely YouTubers getting threatened more than their white counterparts, and Google and YouTube hasn't found a way to protect them. It's the reason why you can't have your kids on YouTube. You can't have your address. You don't, you can't have anything because people are being attacked. And the FBI has got involved in some of these cases already. And there's very little that we've seen Google do. Even, I don't know if you got affected by the ad apocalypse, but even that is just a form. It's like they don't want us to put our opinions in our way. They want us to be pro-Black, pro-choice, pro-whatever, but in their narrative. So it's bullocks what's happening, man. And we all have to protect each other, and we have to tell the story because everybody doesn't have a gate around their house, and everybody can be touched in the area. And representing YouTubers, I have all my YouTubers get security when they go out. At least that's my recommendation. Armed security, whether they're there or not, because it's a dangerous time.
So, I mean, let's speak on a Tariq Nasheed situation, because what I didn't know that if somebody calls in a bomb threat on you, the police could search your house without a warrant, which opens up a whole nother can of worms.
The police can always do it. Yeah, the police can do what they want. You know, all they have to find is some type of probable cause. And we've been in this fight behind the scenes for a decade. You know, my company, my PR and consulting firm, and we've done the new Black Panther websites. And I've had my house violated like that on some real stuff, right? So you have to watch the company you keep in this so-called conscious movement. But I mean, the police can do what they want to do when they want to do it. The law is on their side in America.
All right, now you said something profound. You said watch the company that you keep. Let's deal with somewhat. I don't know if you know much about him, Zacktv1. I'm to the point now where I would recommend anybody that covers that type of, I would say, entertainment, that it's not even worth it now. What's important about watching the company that you keep? Because he was into like that underground Chirac,
I mean,
drill music, just hood, just gutter, you know, like, you know, and you're I guess a journalist. I mean, should you even, would you even recommend a YouTuber even covering stuff like that anymore?
Yeah, because somebody has to cover it. And you know, I'm from the Bay, and I'm, you know, you and I are the same age, and I saw how Sway went from, you know, hitting the street to being, you know, one of the best known voices and faces and hats in the industry, right? And so if you're going to cover it, though, you got to do it with some wisdom, and you have to have security measures. Right here is a body cam that I carry on me personally. Because I need there to be two stories. I need there in a Me Too movement. I need to make sure that nobody can say he said this or that. So you talking to me 9 out of 10 times, I got the Muy Fly body cam on me, which, you know, if you guys want one of these, you can go to my YouTube and see the review I did on it. Kellen Kash is the YouTube, but I keep one of these, and I'd advise everybody, travelers and Black men in particular, to hold this, clip this thing on, and be safe. Now, when you're dealing with a Chirac, or you're dealing, you know, in these violent areas, you need to take the safety precautions, not just while you're interviewing people, but your everyday. Even someone like you who has a good sized audience on YouTube, when you go out, you have to be aware of the people you're around, because there are some really insane in the membrane people, man. Cypress Hill reference, right? That they will do whatever that voice in their head is telling them to do at that moment. And, you know, some of this conspiracy theorist that says, oh, there's been something in the water and they get chips planted. I don't know. I just don't trust anybody. So I got the body cam and other protection when we go out.
Yeah, because I mean, it's just unfortunate in the way that it's like he was assassinated, Kellen. You know, cause I saw the video post.
Yeah,
assassinated. Like that was an assassination. Like that wasn't no getting into an argument and, you know, blows are thrown, fists are thrown, and then he gets killed. That was that was a hit. And then we have the attempted hit.
And unfortunately, those happen every day in America.
So
though, you know, Tariq's might not happen every day. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You go ahead. I think there's a delay on your end, or delay somewhere, but you go ahead.
Okay, I was just saying, yeah, the hit on Zach happens every day in America, especially in our urban areas, and we have to do something about it. You know, everybody is trying to be a gangster. I mean, we even have the others trying to come into the culture and show us, you know, how gangster they supposedly are because of the way they talk. But it's unfortunate. What do we do about it? I think, you know, when we had talked about this YouTube conversation, contingency plans are mandatory if you're building a platform. whether it's YouTube or another business, how does your business go on when you're sick, when you're on vacation, or if you do get killed, or if you just die of natural causes? What's your contingency plan? In every business, every corporation has a contingency plan for different scenarios. And I'll be quiet.
All right, what now? Can you give us some examples of a contingency plan? You know, as they say, you shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket. Like someone who's a YouTuber, you know, we'll say Zacktv1 or Tariq Nasheed. Well, I know Tariq has a contingency plan for the most part, from what I understand. But someone who's just strictly YouTube, what would be an idea of a contingency plan for their brand? Since this is what you do.
So yeah, if you're making a living off YouTube and are using YouTube as part of you making a living, you really need to not be a just one person shop for your contingency plan. You need to have it where if something happens to you, you have backup videos that somebody else can upload onto your platform explaining a scenario that may happen. So it's about having a team. A lot of the YouTubers that come to us, people say, can you make us more famous or help us out with booking interviews or whatever the case? But at the end of the day, we become kind of part of their corporation. That how do we help you when this is all said and done? Because we know YouTube could fail at any moment. I also have at my house, and I'm very biased on this little box right here, but this is my own private server. This is the same stuff that Hillary has. And this is Synology for anybody who's looking up. But if you have one of these and you had your videos for a contingency plan on this box, if a fire happened, this box talks to another box somewhere else in the world, and somebody can still grab those files. You can do information on servers. You could look up Synology, or you could type in my name, Kellen, and Synology, and you'll see a couple videos where I'm explaining that at the CES, which is the Consumer Electronics Show. It's the biggest electronics show in the world. That happens in Vegas every year. Happens out of the country too, but in America, it's a bigger deal. And most of your audience is probably in America. So having the servers, having the files, having someone who can not just upload pre-recorded stuff, but also having it where they can come on your platform, that means you're giving them access. There's a guy, if you YouTube, Tony Soto, I may have talked to him about you when I was talking about contingency plans. Tony was fighting in Philadelphia and being harassed.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's the guy. Yeah, that's the guy. People can type in Tony Soto police, and he has many video of him being harassed by the police department, and now he's been in jail for at least 2 years, and he can't tell his story. But he did not have a team either behind him, and that's what we all need. We need a team if we're having these businesses. If we don't have a team in these businesses, it could be your cousin, it could be whoever, but we need to have somebody else who can upload and collect your money for you, because that's a big thing every month. If you're getting $1,000 or more on YouTube, that money can help you fight a case if you ever need to fight a case. And I'll be quiet in case you have another question.
Yeah. And everybody, please hit the like button as you come in. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe if you're new to this platform. I have the brother Kellen Coleman on with us, and we're just discussing contingency plans, just in case something, I would say, because I mean, what happened to Tariq and Zacktv1, of course, but what happened to Tariq was very I mean, that's crazy. I mean, that was a assassination attempt, but he held himself calm and collected, and he listened, and it ended up working out. But still, that's crazy. But what's crazy, Kellen, is they knew that it was a prank, but they still put him in cuffs. What do you think? What do you think about that?
Yeah. Yeah, the police are always going to say for their safety, and they do that way too often for us, and they don't know. I'm sure, I guarantee the police in his neighborhood know who he is. Again, like I said, I've had that happen to me, and it wasn't like you know, it's all about the company you keep. The holy scriptures say the little foxes spoil the vine, and so you really have to watch your company, because Tariq is on a list that many people are on that talk this black awareness, if you want to call it consciousness, pro-black. He has DVDs, but I know that when I've had to have conversations with the officers, they knew about businesses that I had shut down in the past. You know, so you really, when we teach our clients this, we're not talking about theory like a lot of people. Yeah, I went to school and masters and all of this information, but that can't help you with just the real life when it happens to you. So you need to be prepared. How do you even deal with the police when they come to your house? You know, I was armed when they came to my house. Tariq might have been armed when they came to his, but it's how do you deal with it and let the police know, yo, man, I'm not a threat. So again, I got my body cam on me. I have, you know, did you notice that the news cameras were there before he even came out? And we know that LA and LAP.
Not even that, Kellen. The damn chopper was there. The helicopter was there. The news helicopter was there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they thought they were going to get some good footage or something. They thought he was going to fight, and he just needed to give them a reason. But yeah, they're going to say, you know, for their safety and that standard protocol, and there's probably nothing we can do about it. I know one thing, Tariq is sharp, so I know he's going to get his money. You know, he's going to get his money because it's ridiculous, and it could happen again and again. That can happen again. That can happen to anybody at any time. It's not just a Tariq thing. He's not the most famous YouTuber or person out there, but look how they did Dr. Gates out of his house. But we have to prepare for war. In peace, prepare for war is what the old folks say. So, you know, let's prepare for it, and you know, a great video that every YouTuber should have right now is I did not kill myself. It wasn't suicide. Because when something does happen to us, they're so quick to say we killed ourselves, and black folk don't even kill ourselves, and especially like the hangings and all that.
Now, Kellen, have you been following the there were back-to-back hanging, but suicides by hanging here in Atlanta. One not too far from where I live, and then another one in a Walmart parking lot. Allegedly, a girl committed suicide by hanging herself. I mean, what's really going on?
Straight up war. And you know, I follow everything when the Advice Show puts it up as far as the news, and I see it, and what's going on, and it's war. They don't want us here in a lot of areas. You know, I know there are certain pockets of America that everything is honky-dory and everyone gets along like Mayberry, but most of us don't live in those places. And what's going on is we need to think about what's our alternative. We can continue to fight for the same things we've been fighting for 30, 40 years, or we can do like you, get our passport first and have an extra bag and friends elsewhere, because that's why I love your content. You're showing the other side if we want to go to Africa, even though you go to the bush a lot and everybody's not going to want to do that, but you're showing all of Africa and the possibilities. You know, get shot or go live somewhere where people aren't getting shot like that every day, and they don't have millions of people homeless. So it's just war, and it's always been, and it's never going away, and not in this country. This whole thing will blow up before it finishes.
Let's see here. You keep bringing it up, you know, stay off the radar, I guess, but how easy is that if you're a YouTube personality or I would say a very a famous person altogether? Like, how do you stay off the radar if you're you know, a celebrity? How is that possible?
I don't know if you can stay off the radar. I mean, you put yourself on the radar as soon as you as soon as you know, start doing YouTube or TV or radio or blogs or vlogs. So it's, how do you protect yourself when you're out? You know, having a concealed handgun license might be your thing. It also may be, you know, have a crew. You know what I mean? Have a crew with you that you can trust, you know, not to pop off. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need a whole bunch of hotheads around you, but it depends on who you are. You know, I tell all my YouTubers, all the entertainers and influencers, every time they do an event, you guys have to have some type of security. Me, I'm not a public figure like that. I don't need that. Plus, I just don't, you know, we don't have those issues when I go out because I'm not doing stuff like you guys are doing constantly. I may come out once in a while, but you know, no one really cares. And they also know, keep in mind, these people know who to test and when to test, because we've seen them attack Black women, and then they can see a Black YouTuber in person and be their best friend. I mean, I don't know if you guys know those type of racists that are big on the internet, you know, but if you ever catch them, if you ever catch them on the street, they don't talk like that. And we've been able to catch some people, you know, hey, what's up? And, you know, they claim that, oh, you doxed us and all this other stuff. But whatever, you were talking. You know what I mean? What, I'm not really an aggressive person like that, because I like to fight people who like to fight and know how to fight. And fighting is kind of for the kids. So I would say for all the YouTubers, you're doing an event, get a little security. There's so many apps for security now, like Bannerman, where security might cost you $75 an hour. You know, it might cost you $35 an hour, depending on the city you're in. But just watch out and don't have your license plates and your addresses and your kids' school everywhere, because these folks are nuts. They've proven it to us. They're crazy. And you know that cat who pretends in the hood he's crazy and he wants to fight everybody? Nah, it's some people who are really crazy and their voices are real. I've worked in psych hospitals. Their voices are really telling them it's time to get down. And a lot of times they're brave with weapons and drugs. So, you know, just be careful of your surroundings, and don't get into these troll battles online with these people. Their opinion doesn't matter at all. Who are they? They're talking about your platform. Why go back and forth with them? You know, because the FBI, Google, nobody can help you at the end of the day.
So this, you know, we spoke on Africa. So people keep saying that, hey, Tariq Nasheed. So this, you know, we spoke on Africa. There's an echo in the background. So people keep saying that, hey, Tariq Nasheed. Yeah. So people keep saying, you know, Tariq Nasheed should relocate.
Is it gone? I don't know. I didn't do anything.
Yeah, it's gone now. You know, people are saying Tariq Nasheed should relocate. You know, I was reading, I saw a video of a guy saying that he told Zacktv that he should have left. When somebody experiences something like Zacktv, you know, rest in peace. Say Zacktv would have survived, and if somebody experiences a situation like Tariq Nasheed, should they relocate to another country, or what should they do?
It's hard for us to tell anybody what to do. You know, it's wise. Like if you're from a hard area and you're getting notoriety, like all the rappers in Baton Rouge, all the rappers in, you know, Atlanta, you move outside of the hood, Memphis. I mean, it's just common. Oakland, you have to, because the streets aren't going to necessarily let you breathe. You know, if they don't always want something, they're coming to take it. So, should Tariq move? That's up to, you know, Tariq. But you know, I wouldn't feel personally comfortable with the helicopter over my house and now everybody knows where I stay. And that's just, you know, a little crazy. No matter how many cameras or even security, there's been people who've been bombed, you know, literally in America, bombed, your house bombed, you know, people throwing in cocktails and everything else. You might not see that on CNN, but it happens. And it happens to many people. It's happened to TD Jakes even, but it happens even to, you know, low level people. So if Zach would have survived, should he have left Chicago? For all we know, because I don't know this, he might have moved out a long time ago. That's maybe where his money is. But should then successful black people not go back to the hood to put a focus on the hood and try to make it better? I don't think so, because that's what, you know, the boule types do. And some of us are more comfortable around our own. We all have an expiration date anyway. So, you know, live your life with no fear, because you don't get to choose when you leave or not. Like, you can't run from death, right? Nobody's that fast. So that's me. That's me who's not running from nothing. But you know, I don't think they should have to move, but to leave to another country, I think every Black American should have a piece of land somewhere else. Because if we had a piece of land somewhere else, they're already nervous that we're spending, I think it was 48 billion. The latest fact said Black Americans spending 48 billion on travel, whatnot. They're nervous already that we're going to leave. They're nervous what China's doing in Africa, but African land is so cheap. And you as a business, you can buy land almost anywhere in the world. As an American, we should all be getting a piece of that. We should be getting a business passport and buying a plot of land. And Africa, we know, isn't for everybody, because you got to have a certain mentality. You know what I mean? But the Caribbean, Guatemala has a black area, and Guadafu, I think it's called. You know, there's Black Mexico. So we just got to prepare to go somewhere else in case we get tired. Me, I got less than 10 years in this country full time. Actually, I have less than 5 years full time in this country, because, you know, we're sitting here in Seattle right now, and I'm seeing everything, all the money coming through business wise. There's money available for us. Why don't we take it and flip it somewhere else? And then I'll let you ask your other question.
So let me ask you this: the people who, I guess, you know, refuse to get a passport, refuse to, you know, seek other options, like you said, just buying a piece of land in another country, who say, "Hey, we're gonna stay here because our ancestors built this country, and you know, this is my God-given right to stand here," and you know, all this other stuff. Like, what would be your response to people who think like that after everything? You know, you had the black man who was shot in his garage, got killed in his garage, and his family were awarded 4 cents. It was $4, and they brought it down to 4 cents. You know, as far as the settlement, like in the Starbucks, and I mean, we could go on and on and on. What would be your response to people who are just like, look, I'm not doing none of that, as far as what you're suggesting? Because there's a lot of people out there like that.
Oh yeah, we talk to them all the time, and we need them to stay here. Right. We do not want their mentality in our paradigm. We don't. So let them stay. You know, don't let them get a passport, because I know my first tour to Europe, whatnot, I saw it was white Americans, white girls telling a white English guy, our basically guide, how it's not windscreen, it's windshield, because you know they have different terms over there. And I'm like, this is terrible. This is why they hate us, right? And then I go to the Caribbean, and I'm on a resort, and I'm hearing everybody from California, where I'm from, and Texas, you know, partying, and then talking about the food and how it's too spicy, or how these plantains are too sweet. Like, we don't want these people here in our paradise. Like, get out. Like, if you go to a Jamaica and all you do is sit on a resort and you've been there 10 times, you haven't even seen Jamaica. I love Chris Rock's joke. You know, I write whatnot. I write for a living as well. And so when I heard Chris Rock's joke and his recent thing talking about, you go to Jamaica and you pass the worst poverty you've ever seen, and you come back and you say Jamaica is a great place. That's my joke, whatnot. I'm not saying Chris took it from me, but that's my joke, because people go to South Africa, do the whole safari tour, and they couldn't even tell you what a combi bus is. You know, they don't know what that is. They go to South Africa and they know no Zulu at all. They go to anywhere in West Africa, maybe they were speaking English, right? But they don't know Pidgin even. You know, you don't know anything about the culture because all you did were these tours that kept you totally disconnected from the people who aren't getting paid. It's like going to North Korea. So we don't want those people anyway coming to our paradise because the attitude that they're going to have is such an American Western attitude that we're going to have to worry about kicking them out later. We want people with a righteous mind. And then I'll be quiet.
All right, no problem. What I know you heard the story. I'm pretty sure Phil covered it with the
I know you heard the story. I'm pretty sure Phil covered it with you.
Hello? There we go. Yeah, I know Phil covered it as far as with the black identity.
Yeah, I hear you.
The black identity extremists. And so you had the one brother who, you know, they had locked up for almost a year. And they were saying the reason why they did it because they found a gun on him, and I think he might have been on probation of even that. Like, are they going to continue just to come up with different rules and laws just to direct towards us and marginalize us?
Yes, they're going to keep on doing it until a real you know, terrible event happens in this country and they're forced, we're all forced, kind of like 9/11, to, you know, come together because we don't know what's next. It's going to keep happening because that's what the system is built on. And this is one thing black businesses don't do enough. We don't create systems. And then when we do create them, we don't share them. So there, you know, the Chitlin circuit was a system in itself, but we have to create systems to say, what do we want out of life? I say international move is the thing for me. Is one, I've always loved to travel since I was little, right? We were traveling. Don't need the Jordans, don't need the Coach purse for the lady, for the wife, all that. All we need is to have some money to travel at the end of the day. But when you travel, your money quadruples in some places,
Right?
You know, so even if you're a millionaire, now you're even worth more money. You're able to do more. And the food is so much healthier. You know how healthy the food is in a lot of places? Is as Americans, since we're so used to processed food, we have to take all these pills just to be able to eat somebody else's food.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead. What were you saying?
No. As far as the food being better, oh my God, you could just taste the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. No. As far as the food being better, oh my God, you could just taste the difference. Yeah. You can taste it. Taste the difference, and people who, you know, even if you've never traveled. I always try to think of a way to get people who haven't traveled, they haven't had their chance yet. Maybe, you know, it didn't even click to them. Like, what's the difference? But at Whole Foods and your other grocery stores, you're probably not gonna, you know, taste the difference. But I equate the food to like women. If you have a woman who's all makeuped up and you even just kiss her on her cheek and you can just feel the gloss, you know, because she's put so much makeup on that, opposed to a natural cheek of a woman, which is soft, smelling good naturally. You don't need all that caked up foundation for most women, at least. But, you know, I want mine organic, whatnot. So that's why overseas is beautiful for me. Your money quadruples in many places. The people are friendlier. They actually want to help you. Have you ever seen somebody get stuck in the road in Africa?
No. Oh, that's interesting observation. No.
Well, okay. If I don't know if you heard me, but when people get stuck in the road in Africa, you get a whole village to help them out.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, everybody helps out. If you've ever seen a cow being killed in Africa, everybody in the neighborhood helps out. It's not just a one person thing. You know, here somebody could have a whole cow in their second or third freezer and want to offer you any sometimes. So it's the community that you get overseas. And that's why it's a beautiful place.
Kellen, what about the idea of staying here in America and, you know, as they say, buying back the hood and fixing up the hood? And I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
That's all beautiful. There's probably some people at the top who, even if you bought back the whole hood, now the hood's worth more. So, you know, supply and demand and how, you know, appraising land goes. Even if, I'll give you an example, in Seattle, big housing boom like we saw in California, and there's enough people from California to help this boom become a crisis. But you had people, my neighbors were a nurse and a teacher, bought their home 30 years ago. Their home now is worth $2 million. They cannot afford to keep their home because of the property tax. So
Right.
you can go buy back the hood, and then the same people that you're buying it back for can't afford to get back in. And that's just the way it is. You're not going to be able to select a piece of land just for these people. At most, you can do that for Section 8, you know, and that type of land. But at some point, if you make the hood beautiful, people who can afford beautiful are going to, the poor are always going to be among us. That's the scripture for you. That's not, you know, I don't have any wisdom, but that, you know, we're not going to do anything by just buying back all the hood. I don't know if you saw the Tulsa fund that Jay Morrison is doing. That looks beautiful. I've seen a radio announcer and lawyer Warren Ballantyne try to do something. Yeah. So, you know, people are trying. So we can't say no one's trying. It's not a bad thing to try to buy up back the hood if you're connected to the hood. I'm from the Bay. I'm from Oakland. I don't had too many people I've lost on those streets to go raise my family in that same arena when I've lost 13-year-old cousins for just getting a ride from someone. When we've been shot at just for getting a ride from somebody, you know, coming back from college. We don't know what the business is on the street, and somebody may not like that you just graduated college. That happened, real talk, to my cousin. I know people paralyzed after coming back from Grambling, the Harvard of the South, and they come back to the Bay and they get paralyzed for life, you know. So you buy back whatever hood you want. I go back home to see family, and, you know, kick it. But if you want to stay in the hood, cool. I'm international. I'm Mr. International, Senor International. So that's just not for me. But enjoy your life in the hood.
So let me ask you this, Kellen. Since you're on the West Coast, you grew up in Oakland.
No. I was going to try to stay focused up on the trolls, but then.
Yeah, I have moderators in the chat room, so, you know, hopefully they're taking care of the trolls in the chat room. The moderators are. Now, you're from Oakland. You live in Seattle. Overall, because just me, when I lived in LA from 2008 to 2014, Black people as a collective aren't taking what's going on to Black people, going on to them serious in LA. I'm starting to hear the same things going on in the Bay Area. I'm pretty sure it's going on in Seattle. What's the future for Black people on the West Coast?
The future is, like Willie Brown told us when I was growing up, get money or get out. Period, point blank. Either you have enough money to live in this expensive playground, which $1 million isn't enough, given, you know, your average house is $800,000. You know, California Black folk and Seattle Black folk, similar, not all the same, but there's not a lot of fight when you're in California. Everything is so beautiful for so many people. You know, even if you don't have a lot of money, you find out where to go get you some money. So I don't, for me, the West Coast is a playground. You're competing with Chinese billionaires. The biggest building in Seattle is owned by the Chinese. It's the Columbia Tower Club.
We're going to speak on that too.
We know in California, the Chinese own so much. They got a strategy. It's winning. Yeah, it's winning. The Chinese strategy is winning globally right now. And I have friends who live in China who they say, come back from what? you know, some of them are lawyers, some of them are all of them are educated, and you know, they're making double what they'd make in China, if not triple. You know, I have a lawyer friend of mine, Edward Redmond. You can go to his website, edmundredmond.com, and he's a lawyer who got fired in Washington State, had to sue them, being fired by the government, and now he's a actor for movies in China. He's a news announcer. He's also worked for the biggest PR firm out there. So, you know, you got to have a global reach if you're a Black American anywhere. But we got 1 foot in, 1 foot out. If you've never been out of the country, you can't even comment on this because you don't know how beautiful the rest of the world is and how they treat you. The love that you get from Africa to Europe to Mexico. Even Mexico has love. They'll tell you, Ben aquí, papi, you know, sit here for a minute and chill in Mexico and see what Tulum and Chichen Itza and all that looks like, and get off the resorts and chill with the people. You know, I know I've hooked you up with Negrito Grande, but he has a YouTube channel showing you how well Mexico is. Life's Humble Hunt as a channel. They're making 200,000 in Africa, living it up, you know, working for the government. Unjoku TV, Njoku, Njorku. They'll help you find a job anywhere on the continent. They're the monster.com of Africa, whatnot. So you can find a job even in Africa, because entrepreneurship's not for everybody, you know, but we have to know our options and not feel like a victim. I'm tired of Black folks acting like they're a victim. They can't do this, they can't do that. Like the lady you had on yesterday who's in Ghana, and you were telling her $1,000, right? Make $1,000 a month. There's people here in America who won't even hustle enough to make $1,000 a month. But I felt you on what you were saying. Like, use your contacts, use that education to hustle something up. Or you're just not a hustler, so you need a job.
Brother, let's speak on because, you know, a lot of times we speak on Africa, people are immediately.
Brother, let's speak on because, you know, a lot of times we speak on Africa, people are immediately.
Yeah, a lot of times they bring up the Chinese are taking over Africa. I don't think Black people or people in general realize how much China owns here in America. Like, and it's to the point now where they were trying to buy the Chicago Stock Exchange and they had to block it. But people have to understand, China and Korea, they own a lot here in America. Can you speak on that for all the people that always say, well, China is doing this in Africa and doing that in Africa, when they're doing a lot here in America?
Well, like I had mentioned, in Seattle, they own the tallest building, the Columbia Tower Club, which the Columbia Tower Club is full of all type of businesses. But at the top of the club, it's a private business club, and it's the most beautiful view you have of the city. I love having breakfast or dinner there, but they own a lot. They have a system. Business wise, we have to go with their system. I have a package from China right here, full of books. I got to plug the book, you know, because, you know, we need them to get those books, right? But I got a thing from China full of books, because what this cost me, this children's book, what it cost me to make in China versus what it costs in America is ridiculous. You know, you're talking about like $1 a book. So you order enough. So we have to use China. And I'll tell you something, my father-in-law and other people who have power positions in Africa say, and Malcolm X has said it as well, the Chinese don't want to come take over Africa. They want to come benefit, they'll make their investment, but they don't want to take over. America has tried to take over. France has tried to take over Africa. They did no infrastructure. And when they left, they try to take as much as they can, including those African masks. You know, there's whole documentaries on that, right? Them taking our art, them taking all the resources. So the Chinese have to be a friend to us because they're actually building infrastructure. And anybody who says differently, I doubt that they travel. I doubt, and if they do travel, I doubt that they have any political influence that's not funded by Western people. You know, when I talk about things, even in Cameroon, which is the jersey I'm wearing right now, I'm telling you, I have information from privileged people who aren't just talking, they're putting their money where their mouth is. They're the ones who make the decisions. And what we have to do is stop listening to this low-hanging fruit. Even when they come into the comment box, we just have to either ignore them or block them because they're a weed. They're like herpes. They're just trying to, you know, infect everybody with their nonsense, but they don't have enough influence or enough money to even have a valid opinion that we should listen to. Because right now, if Black people wanted to buy land, contact me. If you want to buy it in about 3 different African countries, we got a connection that we can help you. It's a professional connection. It's nothing for free, but we can help you. If you have at least $2,000 you're willing to invest, you can get some kind of land, you know, but keep in mind your company's going to have to own it.
Right. And everybody who's watching, please get the likes up. Just hit the like button. Make sure you share as well. Also, for those who super chatted, thank you so much for super chatting. Yeah, because China owns a lot here in America, man. It's crazy, like how much they own. But again, people will bring up the fact how I guess China is controlling Africa, but it's like, dude, they own a lot, especially on the West Coast. Because, you know, in fact, here we go. I want to say Korea or Korean Airlines, they own the tallest building on the West Coast, I think in LA, the new building that was built in Los Angeles. I forgot the name of it.
Man, hey, they're winning right now, but they weren't always winning. So we have to look at a history lesson and see when China was going through their own issues and what lessons we can learn. They create a lot of stuff. They produce a lot of stuff. What are we producing? What are we making? How can we see all these people take our culture and we actually go to their concerts like they've created something? This is just like rock and roll. They've hijacked hip hop, or they've tried to, like they did rock and roll, right? Let's make something. Everybody who's talking, show me what you're doing. You know, you have your channel, which is bringing so much value to people because you're showing them how to haggle in Zanzibar. You know what I mean? You're showing them how to get it and where they can rock that African wear. But everybody just talk. And then somebody's cop out is, oh, I don't have the money to go travel. Or I don't have the money to invest. Yes, you do. We've been investing since we were broke. You know, you have the money, you know, but you also gonna have to make right life decisions and not have 5 baby mamas and have 10 pairs of Jordans, whatnot. Jordans is rich. Wear Payless and build your own empire.
Yeah, so it's the Wilshire Grand Center is I'm reading this from Wikipedia. Wilshire Grand Center is a 1,100-foot skyscraper in the financial district of downtown Los Angeles. I thought it was a Koreatown for some reason. It is the tallest building. No, this is not it. This is not the building. Hold on, it's the Korean Air building. I want to say it's taller than that. But anyways, let's keep it pushing. I'll try to find information on it. But it's the Korean. Oh, the Wilshire Grand Building is the Korean Air building now. They rebuilt it. Oh shoot. Okay. Yeah. So it is the tallest building west of the Mississippi River, and this is owned by Korean Airlines or Korea. So let me ask you this, Kellen.
Awesome. Good.
No, go ahead and finish. Hello, you there?
No, I'm quiet. I'm listening.
Okay. You see how everyone else has no issue leaving their country.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
Right. You see how
yeah, I'm here.
No,
I'm listening.
Okay. You see how everybody else has no issue with leaving their country and investing elsewhere, but trying to convince Black people here in America that there are options outside of America is like pulling teeth from a lion with a steak suit on. Like, why is that? Why aren't we open to seeing what's outside of America? A lot of us.
It's not even a black or white thing. Last that I checked, 70% of Americans don't have passports, which lets us know that Americans don't travel enough. Now for Black folk, that's opening up in some recent research, that we're traveling even more, and we're actually relocating even. And that's scary to America because we spend so much money here. But it's been propaganda, and it's also been access. I mean, I've been traveling on airplanes since I was 12 by myself, and it was because I had a traveling mother. And so if you didn't have someone who traveled a lot, you might not have caught that bug. We caught it young, whether it was in the car or on a plane. I actually never flew with my family. Now that I think of it, it was always by myself, young, going out to New York, young, going out to Denver, getting out, seeing things. So we have to, those of us who do travel, we have to document our experience properly. We have to put it on the Instagrams and that Africa is not just all jungle, a jungle in the world. There's jungle in Mississippi, in New Orleans. But we just have to show those stories. And if traveling is your thing, you get to go. But travel's not everybody's thing, and it's not going to be everybody's thing. And we got to be okay with that,
Well, man, and Kellen, I appreciate you coming on, man. Everybody loves you in the chat room. And like you said, this contingency plan is very, very very important. Somebody just brought it up in the chat room because I watched Black Panther again last night, and Jamal, I predicted it. Dynas was right. Since the Black Panther movie, Black folk ain't going to Africa. Just picks from Europe. I told you. I predicted that. I knew that was going to happen. I predicted it.
Well, if they're not going to go, that's okay. But I have a book here. They can read about it if they don't want to go. Read about it.
Show us the book.
Okay, here it is. Can y'all see that?
Yeah.
Okay. Read about Africa. If you don't go, it's okay. Some folks we know are scared to fly. So and that can be a real fear, and they may not want to go to Africa, but read about it so you can get an African mind state so you're not as brainwashed. Because it's just like in South Africa, we're dealing with Black people and colored people. Colored is a mindset that you think you're better than your average Black person. And then they have their white folks and, maybe everyone else that, I didn't cover in South Africa. And it's the same thing here. And then there's another book that y'all can read if you haven't got this. I got these from my local library, whatnot. Let me turn off my light. Maybe you can see it better. But, get some books. Read some books more than just watching Miami Ink and Judge Mathis all day, because these contingency plans you can Google on your computer, on your phone, and see what do you need to do as a business for risk management. We specialize at Coleman Public Relations and Consulting Firm in crisis management. So the first thing we do when we get clients is what happens if something happens to this client. It's just in us to do, and it does cost a fee, but we work with our clients so we give them what they need, and then later on they can come get everything that we have. It's like going to the gym. Your contingency plan and your what could happen, it's not going to happen overnight. So you plan a little at a time. It's like Black folks not having insurance. We all need some life insurance. You don't all have to have a $1 million plan, but get yourself a $250,000 plan. Get yourself a $50,000 plan. Get your kids a $50,000 plan. It doesn't cost anything to get these plans. You know, it costs you, you know, it might, I don't even want to say that because I'm not an expert in that. I just pay my annual fee, but for the different ones that we have. But we need, and many people have said this, TK Kirtland has said this many a times, death should be a celebration. More importantly, the Holy Scriptures tell us we're supposed to rejoice in death and cry at birth. So we should already be planning, right? No matter what your religious belief is, death is to be celebrated. Unless you don't believe in anything. And for folks who don't believe in anything, it's hard for me to even, I mean, I don't know that language because I'm not that special where nothing has helped me. I'm not a self-made individual. I've had many mentors who've helped me. So we have to just Google first the plan, the life insurance. If somebody, you know, was to say we did defamation, what do? We should already have our lawyers in set. We don't have to pay our lawyer annually, but if you have a business, you should at least have a good relationship with the lawyer in case you need one, because things always come up. Look at how they did Morgan Freeman recently. He didn't even touch anybody yet, and they took the black woman footage where they had him on the B-roll and made it seem like she said that. Well, the Advice show had showed you she never said that. She never said she was a victim of any sexual harassment, but they're going to try to use that black woman to wash him like they did Bill Cosby and so many others. And I'm all for women being treated fair. You know, I got daughters. I want all that. But we also have to understand that Hollywood is a filthy place and you ain't cleaning it up anytime soon. And because you don't know enough about how Hollywood works, you can say all these things, oh, this happened, that happened. This is how it got down in Hollywood, and it still does. Now people are, you know, blowing their whistle because they're on their way out, and maybe that's a good thing, because I don't think a woman should have to sleep with somebody to get a role, but that just was the game, you know, for many of people, especially if you didn't have talent. Look at Kim Kardashian. She didn't have talent. She had to, you know, sell sex. But you guys will go buy her products, some of y'all women, so you can get the Kim K effect, whatnot. And to each his own. Cada loco con su tema. To each his own. But you know, don't hate on the people who built up the system when you want to benefit off the system. The system is corrupt in entertainment, period, point blank. It's a corrupt system. You got to have a goon squad. You got to have friends who are at certain levels. You've lived in LA, so you know this, Dynus, because if you live in LA, it's like a spirit on you. It's like, whoa, this thing is dirty. That's why I only go to LA for a week, once a year at most.
Mm-hmm. Kellen, real quick, you brought up Morgan Freeman. Now, he lost his visa, I guess, you know, sponsorship, whatever you want to call it. He lost another one over BS allegations so far. What could he have done differently, or what can he have done to ensure that he didn't lose these relationships?
I think Morgan Freeman should have did something that Trump masters, and you bring it to the media first. You go to the media and you have your talking points, and that's all that you hit on. And he should have partnered with so many women that love and respect him from Mississippi and beyond to LA. And they should have said how good of a person he was to them and how he treated them. Because right now they have a handful of people where he's hired so many people. He's impacted so many lives, you know, that you can't deny that he's done some good. And you're talking about an old man flirting with someone when George Bush, we just saw a couple months ago, was grabbing on somebody, George Bush Sr., you know, in a wheelchair, you know. So I think, and being a PR firm, we handle PR a little different than what your average white firm is telling these black stars, because they're mostly all handled by white PR firms and managers. That's just how it is. They trust them more than their own when they get to a certain level. But to bring it to him, he should have went on the Breakfast Club, denied it. He should have went on Sway. He should have came on Search for a Uru. He should have came on the Advice show. He could have even did Sinetta, you know. You could see Morgan Freeman on Sinetta and really respect the black media. Could have came on the Lovely T show happily, you know, and you know, if Morgan sees this or anyone who knows him, his grandkids, tell him hit me up. We can make all those shows happen. It's what we do, right? But Black Hollywood separates themselves kind of like the Congressional Black Caucus separates themselves, and you can't get a hold of these people when you need them. And in return, they don't even think about us.
Right.
So
yeah, that's crazy. And Morgan Freeman was on that race doesn't exist if you don't bring it up and stop bringing it up, and what racism and he was on all that too.
Yeah, they all are until they get pulled back in an OJ moment.
Right.
That everybody gets like that because it is difficult for a celebrity, unless you're like Ray J. Ray J is an interesting cat, to be able to just be everywhere. Most of them are scared of their own shadow. And so when you see them, it's only with, security, because people are asking them for autographs constantly. So the people in their inner circle are always trying to rob them for some money. So it's hard to be a celebrity. It's one of those things where choose fame wisely, because even if you're popular in your little city, while you're eating and someone can just tap you on your shoulder and interrupt your dinner, to me, that ain't cool. And that's why you don't see them out. But then they get in this Hollywood circle. It's like the NFL draft. As soon as you're drafted in the NFL, they bring you in a back room and brainwash you, whatnot. Ask any NFL athlete what happens immediately after you're drafted. And you get the brainwash of how everybody's going to be trying to steal money from you in the future, whatnot. But I get it. I've seen whole families get happy because somebody just got $13 million and they start treating that person differently. And that's a lot to hold on your shoulders, whatnot, because you got to learn how to tell people no in a nice way without them trying to kill you for your money. But Morgan Freeman is going to be all right, God willing. And, it's the next person they go after. He may not be as clean, because you see even how they try to do Aziz in the comedian,
right? Indian cat.
Yeah. And so I would almost like to see all Black celebrities start getting involved in Nollywood, because the Nigerian movement.
It won't happen, man. It won't. I think the issue, Kellen, is obviously Black people suffer from the white man's ice is colder syndrome.
Yeah. But we got to give them the option, because if you say Nollywood, half your audience probably doesn't even know what that is. Mm-hmm. So we have to let them know. And I'm one of the biggest collectors of Nollywood movies. I actually buy them. I have over 300 VCDs and DVDs in my closet at the house. And Nollywood makes more movies than Hollywood a year. So it's the third biggest by profit, Hollywood, Bollywood, and Nollywood. But these people just don't know. And so we have to let them know. Let's say Bill Cosby went to Nollywood right now and made Fat Albert and Abuja. You telling me they wouldn't be all over that?
They'll be all over it.
Yeah. So, maybe even in him being blind, that may be something to do, so we can be bi-coastal and even hit all the areas, because there's Black folks all over. In Fiji, they consider themselves Black. One of my neighbors is Fijian, and that's one of the first things he told me. We consider ourselves to be Black. Africa. So we got a lot of people to lean on. It's a lot of ways to make a lot of money, but we cannot do it individually. And let me give it a secret to the business. When you build a business and you have a little bit of profit, don't go buy your Maserati and all that. Go buy people. Go buy people to help you in areas you're not strong at. If we're talking about YouTubers, get somebody to do your thumbnails, so your thumbnails can then go on Instagram, and then now you're building your Instagram and your YouTube at the same time, and you can even put little clips of your interview on Instagram to tease people, right? To get them to go to your YouTube. But them thumbnails also, for every guest you have, you can say at so-and-so, at Morgan Freeman, at whoever, right? we have to have solutions to things, and not just complain about it. We're not a complaining people over here. If you're just complaining about what you don't have, take $500 and invest in people. We can hire people from the Philippines for $500 any day of the week to make cold calls, to email, but I can go hire 15-year-olds right here in Georgia, right there in Georgia. We have she's 13 actually. We can hire them when we're pushing our books. We can hire our cousins if they want to work. And there's systems and ways to put that together where people can't rip you off. Because what I tell everybody we pay monthly is, yo, if you do a good job, we got some more money. If not, the job is finished. So we don't do that enough. Think about Rollo. I know you did the show on Rollo.
Correct.
One great thing he did, he had a whole team behind him, of people who were working for him. He wasn't on a solo bolo mission. I've talked to his management before. You don't just get to Rollo, and at least he has the management even, set up. But a lot of us, we don't have that. So a lot of folks won't have a good contingency plan until they have a buffer person, so everybody cannot talk to you, touch you, because there's ways to track you that the average person doesn't know. But if you know anything about investigation, there's ways to track you. You pick up that phone, I might be able to find you. I've had many jobs in life and trained by the best. So you have to just keep in mind others have been too. So you're not untouchable. That's why everybody has to have respect online. You just can't say whatever you want to say. You might get punched in your mouth. Mm-hmm. And worst of all, your family may get impacted. Say that again.
Worse than that.
I say that. Yeah, I say that so your video doesn't get banned on YouTube.
Okay.
And they say it's hate speech and all this other stuff.
Right. You brought up Morgan Freeman going on Lovely T, and some people started laughing. Now, why? Now, I guarantee you, Lovely T might get more views than I would say probably TV1 or News One.
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't people taking what? Because I'm starting to look up like what some of these YouTubers are making, and some just playing video games. Why are still people stuck on this? You're not successful if you're not pushed by a big corporation and you're on mainstream TV. Why are people still Lovely Ti? I'm sorry. Why are people still why are they still stuck on that?
Well, again, like you said, the white man's ice is colder always. Just so people know, Lovely T is one of our YouTubers as well. And so I'm going to be very biased if I talk about someone like that who averages 100,000 views a video. And when you talk about a TV1 and all these people who they run. So recently, the NABOB, the National African American Black Broadcasters, blah, 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 they contacted our firm and they wanted more new media type people to come and join. And I can talk about this publicly because I don't think NABOB is a terrible organization, but their leadership has to understand they don't know the new way. And they want people to pay $500 to join their organization that isn't really needed. Like, we don't need you. You need us because you're not in this new wave. Your website clearly shows that you're not in this new wave. And NABOB, and other organizations like that, the Black Engineers, these organizations were the old way. But what they do is they charge their members, right? They then, if you're talking about like Black engineer organizations, they then charge anybody who wants to promote a job to their members. So they're double dipping in that. So they don't really care about getting you a job. They care more about who will pay them to post their jobs, which that's going to be a fewer number. But Lovely T, Advise, even your show, even Sonetta, there's a place on traditional TV for everybody. But traditional TV, they're not even aware. You got to think about even the Breakfast Club. they didn't even know about an advice show until like last year. You know, it was like last year, maybe 2 years ago. But Charlemagne he didn't know about advice show. He admitted on air. He said one of his Twitter followers put him on. You know, but we can't get Phil on the Breakfast Club yet. You know, these people should be begging, because the Breakfast Club, like Dame told him, Dame Dash, you don't own this. You're just a mouse on the wheel, basically, is what he was saying. They can take this from you any day. They can't do that with the independent media that we're all creating. Even if YouTube was to shut down, all those platforms can be seen on a Black Junction TV. They can be seen on Roku. Different channels hit us up monthly. Hey, can we air this episode? Sure, whatever. You know what I mean? Some have some money. Hey, we'll pay for this episode. Netflix is opening up so much, and Amazon, where soon they're going to be trying to take everything from YouTube. It's a lot of licensing stuff that people don't understand. That licensing is so hard because there's so much money in it. And just because I sold my licensing here in the States doesn't mean I gave you international rights. So, you know, there's a lot of legal stuff that we have to deal with, but it's getting great. By the time our kids are grown, man, they shouldn't have to ask for jobs if we're doing what we're supposed to be doing.
Absolutely.
You know,
everyone, thank you for joining us. Make sure you hit that like button. Brother Kash, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. People love you in the chat room. What we'll do, we'll go ahead and close out. Yeah, the final word, and please give everybody your contact information, website information. I put the link to your YouTube page as well in the chat room. So go ahead and share that with everybody as well too.
Okay, appreciate that. In the YouTube page, my about section is all filled properly, so you can see all the social media. You can see my business email and all that. If you're serious about some business, don't ask me how much anything costs. First, let's talk about you and what you've done in your budget and what we can work in that, because our cost is quite expensive if you just ask what that is. But we want to help Black business. We want to help all business, but you know, we really focus on our business because we are all we got. Last words, you know, people check out LondonandSydney.com, spelled just like the cities. That's one of our children's books. It's the only Black travel book, said the CBC, the Children's Book Council, and it's a nonfiction book. It's the only book where two Black girls who are sisters are actually traveling the globe, and it's just coming out in French as well. So English or French, you'll be able to get that. You can get it right now in English on Amazon, paperback or hardcover. You can request it at your local library if you want it free. These are the things we're putting systems together and owning publishing houses and things. And it's something that anybody can do. So just like you're going to see Dynast come out with his paperback and his hardcover books, he'll probably come out with the publishing company too, so he can publish you. And, you know, we can just each one teach one. But Kellen at ColemanPRFirm.com is my email. ColemanPRFirm.com is the website. It's, you know, real simple right now, be on purpose. But thank you for having me on, brother. And, you know, anytime, you know, I love giving you little tidbits because I see your channel growing to over 100,000 subscribers and millions and millions of viewership, you know, with what you're doing. So keep traveling and, you know, we'll keep rapping.
All right, man, Kellen, I appreciate it. Man, Kellen is a selfless cat, man. He's been helping me out. Almost 8 months now, Kellen? How long have we been chopping it up?
Well, whenever we had you on the Advise show is, you know, I had maybe watched you for maybe a week prior to that. And so whenever that Advise show, and like we had said, you know, he's coming back on. So y'all watch.
I'll be back on Tuesday.
Yeah. You know, and our Patreon members see everything first, but the brother is showing you Africa in a light no one else is showing you. And I can't wait for his documentary to come, just so, you know, I know how to put one together of our footage, but he has so much footage. I don't even want to compete. like right now. I can't compete. Who don't nobody go to Africa every month.
I won't be back to I'll be back. In fact, I'm going to Nigeria in August, you guys. I'll be there first week of Nigeria. I mean, first week of August, I'll be in Nigeria.
Oh, okay, and I'm gonna pressure the people. You have to go by the Google headquarters in Nigeria when you go.
I'll make sure I make a special visit there. I'll do
Yeah,
it.
and if I can do anything, you know, if a P Square, if you know about them, they're mega group.
They broke. You know, they broke up.
Yeah, they broke up, but they're brothers, so they still got it. Hey, go on their website and try to book them, and I bet you get a $20,000 invoice or higher. So you'll see how breakup. Say you got a wedding to do and see what happens. That's a real life email. But to link up with all the Nigerian, like you should do the Zacktv thing in Nigeria and hit the artists, because they're not gonna kill you out there. They're gonna embrace you. Right. And Google even putting that base. You know how many complaints we all had to Google, who can go to Google headquarters daily, and Africa doesn't have anything. And there's groups that y'all don't even know about that are fighting for Black YouTubers, that are fighting for Black YouTubers in Africa, because before they couldn't even monetize their videos without a Western partner. Right. They couldn't do it. And so people are fighting and organizations are fighting. So y'all make sure to support their Patreons, because what is $5 to give to the creators, whatnot. And in return, they're hiring people to better their platforms. You know, we're proving that YouTubers come to us so they can go to another level, and you know, they're paying people. So everybody support everybody, and don't support McDonald's or Starbucks as much, because that's just unhealthy food anyway. And we can see that ourselves grow. You know, cook at home. Make, you know, we got these high-powered Vitamix blenders. Cook at home. You ain't got to eat out every day. So I can't wait to see what the future holds. But I hope that you can go to Google and like I said, I'm gonna bother you, and I'll do as much as I can to, you know.
I'll go. I'll make sure I'll go to Google. I mean, I'll be in Lagos. People who are asking where in Nigeria I'm going, I'll be in Lagos, Ile-Ife, Benin City, and Osogbo. That's where I'm going. I'll be in your country and in Lagos.
Okay, so and maybe like a meet and greet in those places for anybody who's watching from there, even if it's just 2 handfuls of people. That's cool. You know, we're going to Cameroon in the summer and Ethiopia. And if anybody's out there, we want to link up with you and get your side of the story, because the West only tells one side of the story of Africa, and it's poverty, when we know that's not all that is in Africa. We got more poverty here. Go to Skid Row. I know Dynas has volunteered there doing some missionary work. Come here in Seattle and see all the tents while you have billionaires and venture capital. They'll give you money. We turned down millions of dollars for clients last year, and won money in pitch competitions. There's money if you need money. Most of us, though, went to school thinking they were going to teach us. They're not here to teach you anything. School is for you to be tested. And most of us, including myself, went to school for the wrong things. We have to educate ourselves on what to go to school for, because you go to school for healthcare. You go to school maybe to learn how to code, but you don't go, maybe to be an engineer, you go to school, right? But you don't go to school to learn how to write poetry. You know, and anybody who says, you know, I went to school for the wrong thing, we have a program called CNA2MD.com, CNATOMD.com. But we can show you how becoming a CNA, certified nurse assistant, you can make 60,000. You can make over 100,000 just being an entrepreneur as a CNA. There's so many different ways. Those things are programs that cost, but they do not hit you over the head like tuition. And we're not like Sally Mae, where we're following up with you and ripping money from your check. So we're not just talking, we're actually have companies that are ready for you. And Dr. Tina runs that. And that's my favorite client of all, whatnot. you know, you do some research, you'll find out why that is. But CNA to MD, we've got hundreds of people in the healthcare fields where they were only making 28,000, now making 60 with a minimal certificate. There's ways of making this money. A nurse can work 3 days a week and get paid. I'm talking about a registered nurse, get paid, you know, make 60,000 a year, working 3 days a week. So there's ways of you making money in America, especially if you want to stay here. But there's also ways of you doing business if you want to put your chips up. But you got to put your money where your mouth is. You just can't be King Troll on YouTube, on Facebook. You feel me? You can't be like they a lot of times people want me to be Gary V, and I tell them I'm the young Al Heyman and the Black Frank Sinatra. I can't Gary V and tell you everything that we have going on, nor do I think, you know, being from Oconda, that's East Oakland, should I tell you how much money I do or do not have, because that's irrelevant. But I'll tell you a system and give you referrals to people say, yeah, they helped me out. I got a whole referral page from my Facebook to my Instagram of people who have said kind things about us, and even on LinkedIn. So hit us up, man. It's not too many Kellens out there, and we want to help you out if you know you have that mindset to be helped. And you know that's that, man.
All right, brother. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you guys go to Search for Uhuru on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook. Also, Africa Personified on those same platforms. Make sure you go to searchforuhuru.com, DynasAmir.com, AfricaPersonified.Africa, and go to Amazon.com. Search your name, Dynasamir. Please buy a book. Till next time, family. Peace.
Peace.